Season of Discovery has a new phase. I actually think I might start playing Season of Discovery again. Like this, like I'm gonna be real, like Season of Discovery Phase 2, like didn't really excite me at all. I was like, yeah, it's whatever, right? This actually excites me. Like I'm thinking I might play it now. I do like this. This actually looks cool. I saw they were adding like I just saw like the list, right? Like there's gonna be a raid for like Atal Zazar. So let's watch it.
Hi everyone. I'm Clay Stone, Associate Production Director of WoW Classic. Welcome to our Season of Discovery Phase 3 preview.
Okay.
As our team has shared in the past, we have been blown away by the reception to Season of Discovery, and we're so excited to share this sneak peek at what's ahead with you.
I wonder how many people are playing Season of Discovery.
Let's take a look at what we'll be covering today. We'll kick things off with raid information.
There it is. That's what I care about.
Then, a preview of rune abilities, followed by our PvP updates, changes and additions being made to world events, a look at what's coming.
It's crazy to me to think about, like, you know, back in the day where like Classic WoW wasn't even like imagined, and like now we have like a new version of Classic WoW. It's cool to see how far it's come.
Professions, and close it out with a very important system update. And more, which you're definitely going to want to stick around for. All right. So just like last time, some disclaimers.
What is it?
We're going to put the build up on PTR soon to check our era and hardcore realms. But like all the other phases, Phase 3 of Season of Discovery will not have a PTR for player testing.
Great.
Still, there will be some data mining that occurs in advance of the launch.
I'm sure there will be.
Since the beginning of Season of Discovery, not everything data mined will actually be in the phase or future phases. So speculators beware. And conversely, there's more to discover in this upcoming phase and beyond than we're going to talk about ahead of time, and we want your feedback. Everything we do across Classic continues to be a journey that is co-written by you, the players, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts on all of it. All right, so I'm sure it is a total surprise.
So it's a 20-man raid.
Absolutely no one saw coming that the Temple of Atal Hakar, aka the Sunken Temple,
I'm really glad they made this the raid,
will be our new and first 20-player level up raid. This raid is jam-packed with 8 bosses, tons of new items, including new item sets, new and revamped epic drops, and up-leveled and rebalanced quest rewards.
Yo, I want to get that. I wonder if they have that. You know what they should do? You know that dragon, that sword Dragon's Call from Acranius? They should make that summon Acranius. Just fucking do it.
Quest rewards. This is also when the level 50 class quests come online, which will provide a wide array of powerful items for each class. Jumping into a quick preview of a few of the bosses. The first boss in this raid is Atelarion, a massive berserker troll that acts as a bit of a janitor, cleaning up or potentially eating any person or thing that happens to fall down from the
He's talking about
above.
Guzu.
If the fall doesn't kill you, this guy definitely will. Next up, we have a brand new boss, the Festering Rot Slime. This engorged, gelatinous monster inexorably patrols one of the outer rings of the Sunken Temple, consuming any wandering adventurers hapless enough to cross its path. A bit further into the raid, we have Jamal An and Ogam, a priest and an undead avenger,
this guy's a
utterly
cocksucker.
dedicated to seeing the blood god Hakar return to the mortal world. These two will keep you on your toes and have a few tricks up their sleeve to keep the fight interesting each time you encounter them. The last boss in this preview is the mighty green dragon, Aranicus. Aranicus has been having a bit of a bad dream for the past few decades. And that dream is manifesting in our world in a variety of ways, which Nora will talk about in just a little bit. For those that make it to his lair, we can't recommend waking this big beast up, but if you do and are able to prevail, a lot of sweet loot will no doubt await you.
All right.
Speaking of loot,
I want to see some loot.
Here's a quick look at some of the awesome rewards you'll find inside the Sunken Temple. First up, we have a new take on the Drakestone item.
Damn, that shit's really good. God damn, that's 30 damage? That's a lot.
With a new Shadow Arcane spell damage variant.
That's an offhand?
Next up is a rather unique weapon. Yes, it's an axe gun. What? Shamans and paladins have felt left out for quite some time when it comes to having ranged weapons, and short of Egan's blaster, there's not much for them. Now, Wait, fire the gun axe at your target, dealing 122 to 500
158 fire damage and additional damage over a second. It's only on 1 minute CD.
And short of Egan's blaster, there's not much for them.
It's not that much damage, but it's still cool.
You can have a gun that you can swing like an axe or shoot like a gun.
Yeah.
With a cooldown, of course. It's unfortunately a bit slow on the reload.
That's also good for pulling too, if you're a warrior. If you want to like tank with this weapon.
We have a quick look at our tier tokens. Similar to AK-40, we'll have 2 different tokens with several classes on each. We really like the token system in Nomergon, but it sometimes felt a bit bad to be rolling against the entire raid whenever one drops.
Sure.
So now we'll have 2 different tokens, and multiple will drop on each boss that can drop set tokens. And here's a quick look at some of the epic rewards. First off, we've got a glow up for the classic Embrace of the Serpent robe for healers. We've also updated the sword Dragon's Call. One cool thing about this weapon is that we've added several brand new glow effects.
It has. It didn't have stamina or attack power, I believe, back in the day.
For weapons in this patch. And this is one of the first items to take advantage of having a very fancy, but still quite classic, new glow. And
yeah, this weapon was really cool back in the day.
In previous raids, we've got several fun items lined up as well. The first item is the Atalai Blood Ceremony, which allows you and a friend or frenemy to play a deadly game where only one survives. This item is great for when you need to decide something, and a coin flip just won't cut it. The unorthodox...
That's really cool. It's just like a really cool, like clever flavor item. It's basically a death roll, but literally.
Unorthodox Hex Stick allows you to embrace your inner critter and transform into a disgusting little creepy crawler to dazzle and disgust your friends.
Oh, wow.
These are just a few examples, and there are several cool things coming with this patch. We've intentionally left the best ones for you to discover yourself. Cool. Lastly, one bit of feedback we took to heart this patch was that a lot of updated quest rewards for previous level up raids could feel a bit underwhelming. So for Sunken Temple, we've actually gone a step further and helped rebalance and restat many of the existing quest rewards.
Really?
The first example here is a Vanguard helm.
Oh, yeah!
And you can see we've made it a bit more attractive to the classes that can use it.
Yeah, didn't it have like 25 spirit or some shit?
And Helm of Exile as well.
That helmet is insane, by the way.
While not a quest reward, we have also carried forward some of the work we did updating dungeon drops in the previous phase, and revamped even more dungeon drop rewards, including Princess Theradras's Scepter.
Damn. 69% AP. That's a lot of attack power, especially with strength and agi on the mace already. That's really strong.
I'll turn it over to Matt to give us a preview of runes and just some of the new abilities you'll get access to.
Hey folks, I'm Matt Everett, Senior Engineer on the Classic team. I'll go over some of the new runes you might find in Phase 3. Before that, I want to note that we heard your feedback that a lot of runes last phase weren't accessible until level 40. We've tried to balance Phase 3, so you'll find more runes while leveling, but you'll still have some to look forward to at 50.
Okay.
Let's look at Druids first.
Who cares?
Gore gives you a chance to reset some key feral cooldowns and generate some rage. And Improved Bark Skin gives you all the benefits of Bark Skin without the drawbacks, and you can cast it on your friends.
That's cool.
Are Hunters. With Lock and Load, your traps grant you a free shot with no cooldown. This could be a great 1-2 punch with something like Double Chimera Shot. Focus Fire lets your pet build up Frenzy, which increases its attack speed. You can activate it to consume your pet's Frenzy, boosting your attack speed and granting your pet Focus. Next up are Mages.
Okay.
Deep Freeze is a powerful 5-second stun on a frozen target. If the target's immune to stuns, it takes significant damage instead.
Dude, Deep Freeze was really... Like, Deep Freeze was OP as fuck whenever it came out. Yeah, like... Was it Mop? Yeah, I feel like it was. Because I remember hearing... Like, the only thing... Yeah, Zaryu... Yeah, it's like Zaryu from, like, 10 years ago. I'm deeping him. Like, I could just fucking still hear Zaryu talking about Deep Freeze. Was it Wrath? Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Fire Bolt lets you live on the edge of risk and reward, dealing heavy damage but decreasing your
I remember Miss Pandaria.
If you reach 0 spirit, you die.
What's this?
And by the way, if you're leveling increasing your spirit...
Reality destroying bursts of raw energy. Each time you cast Baleful Bolt, the damage of your next Baleful Bolt, 30 seconds, essentially. Wow. Okay.
Spirit. If you reach 0 spirit, you die. And by the way, if you're leveling a new mage, you might find this rune earlier than you expect. Paladins. Improved Sanctuary makes you even tankier, increasing Sanctuary's damage blocked and damage dealt back to attackers.
Yeah.
Wrath lets you crit with Consecration and applies your melee crit chance to your Holy Shock, Holy Wrath, and Exorcism spells.
We gotta play Paladin tank. This is fucking insane. This is fucking crazy. Oh my god.
Let's look at Priests. Pain and Suffering allows your Mind Flay ability to refresh the duration of Shadow Word Pain, while Surge of Light causes your crits to make your next Smite or Flash Heal instant cast. Rogues.
Okay.
Honor Among Thieves is incredibly powerful, granting you a combo point each time a party member scores a crit.
Yeah.
It does have a short cooldown, but you'll be swimming in combo points with this rune.
Yeah, I remember this was big in like Dragon Soul.
Cut to the Chase makes it easier to keep Slice and Dice up by allowing Eviscerate and Envenom to refresh it back to its max duration.
Okay.
Next up are
yeah,
Shamans.
those were in the game
When
before.
you deal melee damage,
Yeah, Catatonics,
Mental
yeah.
Dexterity applies your intellect to your attack power, and then applies 30% of your attack power to your spells. Riptide is a fan favorite that instantly heals the target for an initial amount, and then heals for a similar amount over time. When you chain heal a target with Riptide active, it gets consumed to power up the chain heal. Warlocks.
I remember doing that before.
Makes damage over time spells even more overwhelming by letting them crit. With this rune, you can summon...
Jesus, wasn't this like, this was Mists of Pandaria, Pandemic, right? I'm trying to remember, because I remember like that shit was crazy. Was it Wrath? Fuck, I don't remember that at all.
The iconic
I guess
Felguard
I
to
started playing a
supplement your
lot
stable of
in
demon
like
pets.
MoP. That's how I
Felguard
guess
is
I
a
know.
powerful melee damage dealer capable of both tanking and dealing out serious punishment.
Oh my
He's not
God.
the only new demon you can summon this phase, but I'll let you discover that on
Wait,
your
so
own.
like, could you wait? So if the Felguard is capable of tanking, is it a? I think that Metamorphosis is like a leg enchant, right? Oh, it doesn't say if it's on legs or not. Dude, imagine, is it glove? Dude, imagine if you have both of them.
He's not the only new demon you can summon this phase, but I'll let you discover that on your own. Warriors. With Taste for Blood, your rend damage lets you use Overpower once per 6 seconds.
Oh, this was
Sword
really
and
good.
Board gives your Devastate and Revenge a
By
chance-
the way, whenever I say this was really good, what I mean to say is that this was fucking insane. This was so good. I remember in Wrath of the Lich King they added this. One thing I hope they add for Warriors is, so they had like this one thing where if you did Overpower on a target, it would make the target do less spell damage and spell healing. So like Overpower was used as like a soft interrupt.
to reset Shield Slam's cooldown and make it cost no rage.
Unrelenting
This time,
Assault, was that
warriors
it?
get a bonus rune. The much-requested Gladiator stance lets you live that Sword and Shield Gladiator fantasy.
Shit.
This increases your
It's me,
damage
not
from wearing
you,
a shield,
sorry.
as well as letting you use abilities from other stances at the cost of survivability.
While wearing a shield and gladiator stance, you may use all abilities that are restricted to other stances. I wonder if that's actually going to be good. Yeah, I don't know.
This is one we've really been looking forward to bringing to the season, and we can't wait to see what warriors are able to do with it. I love watching players work
Yeah,
together
I
to
don't
find all
know.
the new runes each phase, and I'm looking forward to this one. Up next, Nora will join us to talk about PvP updates.
Hey, thanks, Matt. My name's Nora Valletta, and I'm a lead software engineer on WoW Classic. I'm here to talk about some of the other updates we've got coming in Phase 3, starting with PvP.
Okay.
One of the things we've learned from previous phases is that PvP can be a bit rough when the only thing available is PvE gear that is generally set up with output stats rather than survivability stats.
Yeah.
As a result, we're going to be introducing a brand new level 50 PvP set
Ooh.
that requires ranks 5 through 7 to equip and earn.
Oh, wow.
This is similar to the rank 10 and rank 13 PvP sets in that it's a full 6-piece set with appropriate PvP set bonuses.
Cool.
There will also be a starter set available from a new faction called the Emerald Emerald Wardens, but
wow.
we'll go into more detail on them later on. Here's a quick look at a few of the new PvP set.
Let's see. So it just says it's like Knight Lieutenant, 15 stam, basic damage. Yeah, these seem actually pretty good.
Items. You'll notice that they are a bit more specialized and focused than the previous level 60 PvP sets were. Each class will have a variety of sets available to them, such that multiple different specs or roles are covered. We're also making a few adjustments to the Blood Moon event, including adding brand new rewards for level 50. We'll also be adding a new currency for the level 50 rewards called Massacre Coins, which you'll earn when killing higher level players in the event. We'll be retiring the Bloodstained commendations that are currently available from the Blood Coin vendor. Any existing commendations that you have will still function after the patch, but don't hold on to them forever. They will expire after 2 weeks. We think it's okay if you're able to bank these now to give you a bit of a leg up on PvP ranking at the start of the next phase, but we don't
that's cool. They let people do that, to poop socket a little bit.
Necessarily want you to be able to hoard enough coins to get you all the way up to rank 14 later on when that rank becomes available. We'll have a new PvP honor consumable token for level 50 as well, purchasable with the new currencies. And how about some gear? Here are a few of the new items available via the Blood Moon event in Phase 3. Do note that the Headhunter's Barbed Spear is a warrior-only weapon. We also...
Holy shit. That's really good, man.
Realize that ranged hunters may have felt a bit left out last time, so we've gone ahead and given them a pretty strong crossbow option in this round. Well, Phase 3 of Season of Discovery will soon be upon us, and with it comes new loot, new opportunities to gain experience, and new adventure. Let's take a quick look at our new PvE world event called Nightmare Incursions. Picture, if you will, the 4 emerald portals scattered across Azeroth. At this point in history, the Dragons of Nightmare, Terrar, Ysandra, Emerus, and Lethan have not yet arrived to spread their terror. However, as you approach each portal, you can't help but sense hidden danger. Something's not quite right.
Yeah, at the
Those
level
brave
60
enough to
elites.
enter an emerald portal will be plunged into a realm seeping with corruption and overrun with dragons, treants, and other poor souls driven mad by the corruption. But beware, not all foes are alike. Some enemies can be defeated by a single seasoned adventurer, while others are perhaps too powerful to be faced alone.
Wait, so there's an outdoor event that you can do that has actual fucking dragons in it? That's really cool.
Nightmare Incursions offer repeatable PvE content for levels 25 through 50. To check it out, simply enter one of the 4 emerald portals located in Duskwood, Ashenvale, Hinterlands, or Feralis. This is a great new opportunity to earn experience, and those who choose to jump in and fight the corruption will
Isn't it crazy, like, how much that they're adding in the classic WoW? Like, I feel like just taking a step back, like, this is really impressive.
Chance to earn reputation with an all-new faction called the Emerald Wardens. With great danger comes great rewards. The Emerald Wardens will be very grateful for your help and will be offering a selection of choice new items to sweeten the deal. One of the cool things about Nightmare Incursions is that we plan to include some rewards at different player levels, as there will be content available for players roughly level 20 all the way to 50 across all 4 Nightmare portals. The first example is this Nightmare Siphon Trinket, which could be really fun for low-level alts. For level 50...
That's insane. Like, that is so good. Like, for classic WoW, that amount of recovery is nuts.
We have the Roar of the Dream, a somewhat unique ring that has a sizable
That's
spell
a
damage
ring.
proc on it. Lastly, we also
66 spell damage ring as a proc. That's like 3 or 4 spells. And you can snapshot in classic too, right? That's nuts.
To take a page from the Burning Crusade playbook and make a level 50 PvP set available at Honored with the new Emerald Wardens faction. This set isn't as powerful as some of the other PvP item rewards we plan to add this phase, but it's a good stepping stone into the better items later on. With the launch of Phase 3 comes a host of interesting new updates to professions. Continuing on from the first 2 phases, we'll be introducing a new quest chain to give players access to new nightmare armaments, crafting recipes, as well as some fun things for engineering, enchanting, and alchemy. We've also learned a few lessons from the previous phase of professions, so the cost to access the recipes will be essentially free in terms of raw gold.
Okay.
And the cost of the recipes that Ziri offers and Nomergon are going to be decreased as well, in case you want to buy additional recipes for completion or you have an alt.
There's probably not as much gold in the economy now because GDKP isn't as big, right? Because like the thing is, like I'm a GDKP enjoyer, but at the same time, it's undeniable that people bought a lot of gold to get GDKPs.
To snag the recipes for themselves. We think gold sinks are important and are going to explore different ways later on to do that are not so directly on the critical path of gear progression. Here's a quick look at a few of the crafted items you can make this phase.
Shoulder pads of the deranged. Damaging spells have a chance to increase your spell damage by 30 and dodge by 2%. This has no effect outside of areas under the knife. Okay, so this is just like, I don't really feel like anybody's really going to use that. But like shoulders, like look at, I guess this is a warlock tank shoulder. 13 damage shoulders. That's actually pretty good with stam and intellect.
Many more across various professions and for various specs and
immunity
roles.
to fear.
As you can see, some of these items offer
druids do get fucked by fear
effects which are applied while you're under the influence of the nightmare. If you'd prefer to stay nightmare free, we've got some cool new items such as the void powered Slayer's Vambraces, which can grant you immunity to fear for 15 seconds.
That's good.
We do plan to allow you to pick up specializations this phase, as well as allow you to level to 300 in each profession.
Wow, so you can get ahead this time.
A few new surprises here. For example, we are adding a quest to allow you to get additional potion, elixir, and flask procs when crafting those types of consumables.
Oh, this was so good. I remember, bro, there was one time in Burning Crusade, my mom, because like she did alchemy, and she procced 5 primal mites out of one of them. And I remember I asked her about it during like BFA. And I said, do you remember that one time? And she's like, yes, I remember it. That's the kind of shit that was so good about the game. You 100% need to have like that proccing extra stuff thing. The transmute proc was so good. Yeah.
Also have to do a little bit of legwork to unlock these things, but the benefits should be well worth it. The lion's share of our new toys involving professions specs will be coming after level 60, and we have some very cool things planned there to allow you to make the most of your professions. Well, that was a lot of updates. I hope I didn't forget anything. Josh, I'm not forgetting anything, am I?
Now that you mention it, Nora, there is one small system update you might have missed. But first, hi, I'm Josh Greenfield, Senior Game Producer on WoW Classic. So there is one small system change coming, and honestly, the update is so minor we almost didn't mention it, because we didn't think anyone would really care, but since we're all previewing things, we figured we might as well. So, in 1.15.2 with Phase 3, you may happen upon a
Oh shit, they're adding dual spec. Thank fucking God. Like, I played the original classic WoW less because I didn't have dual spec. I would have played the game more if I had it.
Dashing dwarf from a faraway land.
It's only 50 gold? It was 1,000 in Wrath, right?
One very special talent that he wants to share with you for a small fee.
Holy shit.
Actually, to be a little bit more specific, he has 2 sets of special talents to share. Like I said, we were pretty sure this would be a big deal to most players. We probably should have just left it out of the presentation entirely. So, with that, we're approaching the home stretch, but we've got a tiny bit more to discuss, and we want to take some time to...
Dude, it is crazy to me that, like, I think the WoW Classic team is doing so insanely well. Like, this is awesome. Like, how's this happening? Like, what the fuck?
Cover a few other miscellaneous topics.
They're focused on making it fun, yeah.
As well as a quick look at how
Carrying
things will start to shape up at level 60.
They're doing great.
So let's jump right into that. So the first topic here is world buffs. As with the previous phases, we'll continue to allow you to use the previous world buff up through the current max level. The new raid, Sunken Temple, will also include a new world buff.
Okay.
We'll also be making some rather powerful consumables available for exchange on a certain NPC using materials found in the Sunken Temple raid.
No, that makes sense.
These are spiritually similar to the Zanza elixirs that you could obtain
like
by
move
exchanging
speed
items found in Zul'Gurub.
Yeah.
They're quite powerful, so you'll definitely want to bring them with you to the raid when you can.
Stam.
Also, as with previous phases, we did want to clarify that bankable, repeatable turn-in items will not function to allow you to level quickly from 40 to 50. We really love... The preparation.
Guys, I don't think I'm going to have time to play Phase 3, man. Like, I was really thinking about it, but I just had something come up, and I feel like it's just not going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it.
Aspects of original WoW, and things like pre-questing are great, but being able to bank hundreds or even thousands of repeatable quest turn-in items to get multiple levels right when the phase begins is not going to be supported in this or any phase going forward.
What?
To be clear, this includes things like Marks of Honor, Wastewander water pouches, and the troll necklaces from the Hinterlands. One of the big lessons we've learned in Season of Discovery is how tricky it can be to balance the level up journey and the outdoor world, but to also encourage players to play multiple characters.
Yeah.
It's tricky to manage, especially against a seasonal backdrop where the content phases are relatively short by World of Warcraft standards. To help out with this a bit, we introduced a very powerful Discoverer's Delight XP buff at the midpoint of Phase 2. And while that was effective at increasing the speed at which you could level alts, it didn't really help to reduce the fatigue that came with leveling your first main character.
Right.
By way of a compromise, in Phase 3, you will earn 50% additional XP from all sources from levels 40 to 49, and this will be
Guys, maybe I will have time.
Right when Phase 3 goes live.
Holy
shit. This is just to give a slight nudge right away. It will still be a sizable number of hours.
I feel like the reason why they're doing this is probably because they're releasing Phase 3. It seems like they're releasing Phase 3 pretty fast after Phase 2. So, like, they probably looked at their data, and it's like a lot of people just barely got to 40. And we don't want to, like, have them fall off. It feels fast. Yeah, it does. Phase 1 was way too long. It was. Like, 40, 50, and Classic's also a slog. I mean, in my opinion, like, I think that contextually they should do this, but theoretically they shouldn't. Because I think the leveling process should be part of the game. But, like, I can see I can see what they're trying to do here, right? You spam ZF, it's like 12 hours. Yeah, right. I don't know.
50, but this will help move that along without feeling like you're either just flying through zones or conversely in danger of running out of quests if questing is your preferred leveling method. Note that the 100% buff from 1 through 39 will remain in place as well.
I gotta
Overall,
play.
we think that these buffs are a decent solution, but they aren't what we'd consider to be ideal.
Yeah.
We're going to carry a lot of what we learned.
I'm really great. That's so great for me to hear because, like, this is my opinion, right? And, like, who cares what I think? But, like, this is my opinion. I think that Classic WoW, you shouldn't make people want to have to go through the leveling process faster. You should make the leveling process better and more fulfilling. Because I think that the best thing about Classic WoW isn't level 60, it's 1 through 59. It's the journey. It's the journey that counts, you know? That's what it's about. And so I really hope that, like, you know, philosophically, they think about a way to make the journey more fulfilling and fun and focus on actually fixing the real pain points of leveling rather than just, like, making leveling faster. Because making people skip something doesn't make the something better, it just makes it not matter. And how many things have that happened with How many things has that happened with retail? Too many.
Forward if we do something like this again and maybe look at other adjustments we can make to help smooth the leveling curve in general. Additionally, as with Black Fathom Deeps before, Nomergon will give a sizable amount of XP for each boss kill, so continuing to run that with your guild will be a worthwhile activity when it is available to you. On the same token, we see Nightmare Incursions as a good quick way to get a good chunk of XP if you find yourself wanting a change of pace from your normal leveling routine. There's a lot of repeatable content that gives experience there. As for the raid release and lockout schedule, we've been thinking a lot about this and we've decided to shift Sunken Temple to a weekly lockout, and it will be available right at the release of Phase 3.
I mean, like, Sunken Temple is the first 20-man, right? Like, it's because, like, Nomergen was 10. Yeah. I feel like you've got to keep in mind that Classic WoW, all of my friends that are messaging me about Season of Discovery, I mean, they're, like, in their 30s. They like playing the game, but, like, having to be locked into raiding every single 3 days to maintain, like, you know, like, relevance with lockouts, I think 3 days is too much. Like, having a 1 week lockout and making the raid more rewarding, I do think is better. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many people stuck around with Classic WoW, is because you didn't have to invest a lot of time into the game. You got your world buffs, you went offline, you logged in, you raided for a few hours, and then you're done. Like, it wasn't like retail WoW mythic raiding. It's like 2, 3, 4 days a week you're raiding. That's just too much, man. It's just too much. And I did it for over 10 years, right? But I just think that people have moved past that.
Kind of similar to what we did with Nomergon.
And keep in mind that, like, even if you are the kind of person that likes raiding like that, you will find a way to do it, because you're going to be raiding on 5 different characters. Like, you don't need to worry about creating content for sweats, because sweats will create content for themselves.
Players will have 5 full days to hit level
1 week
50
is too long.
If you want to try and get in a raid during that first lockout, and then the raid will
5
work
days?
like any
No.
other weekly lockout, resetting
Fucks
on
up people's
Tuesday
schedule.
or your normal regional lockout day. We decided to make this swap for a few reasons. First, we've gotten feedback from players saying they would like to have a bit more consistency with their raid schedule, and with the raid size going up to 20 players in this phase, being able to plan long-term is even more important. We'll also talk about this a little bit more in the next few slides, but we're also...
Oh, this is a good point. Yeah, maybe he's saying this because they're trying to make the Sunken Temple raid congruent with, like, the 60 raids. I don't know.
Thinking ahead to what the raiding landscape will look like once we hit level 60. That also informs this decision. Lastly, on this topic, we will be sure we are being generous with drops to compensate for this change.
Smart.
That's a good segue to talk about level 60 in-game. Since we're...
This is whenever they're going to announce the Scarlet Citadel raid, where you get to purify corrupted Ashbringer. It's about to happen, guys. We're about to hear about it right now.
We're getting close to 60, we think it makes sense to dig into a few more details of what you can expect starting with Phase 4. This preview is very, very early and in no way comprehensive, but it's just meant to be a minor sneak peek at some things we have cooking. Again, to stress that much of what you will see here
it's going to be in the game.
Very much in development, and some specifics could and likely will change. This is more of a look at our general thought process, rather than the actual set-in-stone plans we have. As we alluded to a few slides ago, we plan to standardize raid lockouts from level 50 and beyond to a weekly reset. This includes things...
UBRS is not included. I just want to show that.
Like Zul'Gurub, Ruins of Anchorage, and Onyxia's Lair. We also want to ensure with our itemization updates, many of the items, even in early raids, remain relevant for a pretty good long time. Ultimately, this is a very...
Yeah, you know what I want to see them redo? I want to see them redo Sulfuras. Hand of Ragnaros. Like, it just sucks. How the fuck is the first legendary that a lot of guilds get? How does it suck? Like, yeah, redo that.
Classic approach, and many items you got even as your pre-raid best in slot.
I'm going to say one thing. I will be disappointed if they do not bring back the Talisman of Binding Shard. Bring it back.
Hand of Justice or the Savage Gladiator chain remained good for several tiers, and we want to carry this forward. With this in mind, however, we know you will likely want to run several different raids a week, but we want to avoid a situation where logistics gets messy because you have to contend with a large number of irregular, unwieldy raid log timers. By the time Blackwing Lair is out, for example, there's going to be a large menu of relevant things to do at level 60, and being able to plan and schedule activities on a predictable cadence is going to be very important.
Exactly, yeah. They don't want to overload people. That's smart.
Last quick note on this, while Upper Blackrock Spire is technically a 10-player raid, it's never had a lockout, and that will remain true. It's essentially a 10-player dungeon, and will remain that way. So go farm those Briarwood Reeds. Another very frequently asked question we've received is, what about weapon skill racial bonuses? From the start, we've suggested that you shouldn't need to worry too much about things like orc and human weapon skills long term, and that you should feel good about choosing whatever race you want based on their aesthetics or other bonuses that race gets apart from weapon skill bonus. Every phase, we get asked for a status update on this, and we just wanted to confirm that yes, the solution is coming at level 60.
Well, what about Edge Masters, though? Like... Yeah, so like, I wonder.
At level 60, you will be able to discover a method to essentially swap in and out
I'm an Edge Master.
up to 2 weapon skill bonuses for your character. So, for example, if I were a Troll Fury Warrior and I had a mace and a dagger, I could swap my passive bonuses to +5 maces and +5 daggers. Please note that these weapon skill bonuses do not stack with each other or with a certain race's normal passive weapon skill bonus. So in the same scenario, if I were a human warrior, I already get +5 maces from my racial skill, so instead I might want to use +5 bows and +5 daggers so that maybe my bow skill had a better chance to hit if I was pulling higher level mobs. Just like your racial skills, however, these passives will stack with any weapon skill you gain from items, such as Obsidian Edge Blade or Maladath Ruined Blade of the Blackflight.
Oh,
these unlockable
+6
passives
swords
will be available right at level 60, and while there will be a short discovery to unlock them, everyone who wants them will have access to them early on.
Human, I feel like I mean, orcs still have Blood Fury, right? Which I think that makes them still insane. And then human still has perception, but perception's only really relevant in PvP.
That line of thought, yes, priests will also be able to unlock other races' unique priest spells as well, such as
somebody said this isn't even classic, to be honest. Yeah, so the reason why it's because it's so you might be new. It's called Season of Discovery. So Classic WoW is the thing they brought out in 2019. So they made a new game, and it's like half classic and half like kind of more like new, like some retail stuff, etc. So yeah, if you weren't aware, it says, oh yeah. So this actually isn't Classic WoW. These aren't changes they're making to Classic WoW.
Devouring Plague and Fear War.
He's late.
We don't want to spoil how this will work just yet, but just like weapon skills, we do get asked about this a lot and wanted to confirm that this was also coming and would be available early on at level 60.
Smart.
There will also be discoveries tied to accessing these spells as well. So this is the last big item in our level 60 preview, and we think it's the most impactful, as items are obviously going to be a major focus of the new level 60 endgame. We're essentially totally revamping tier sets to add multiple variants for different specs and roles that each class can fill. We don't necessarily intend to make a full set for every single niche playstyle in every raid tier, as some classes could end up with upwards of 5 to 7 sets every few months.
I kind of want to play Paladin tank. I do. I kind of want to play it. Why can't retail be this good? I mean, I do think that there's a lot of, like, I mean, if I was a retail player right now, or if I was a Diablo player or a Overwatch 2 player, I would feel really jealous of Classic WoW players. Because I feel like they are eating so good. Like, this is great.
But we do want to try and cover a lot of the major roles, as well as some new playstyles we've added to different classes, so that most unique roles each class has access to get something cool at some point during their level 60 journey. Additionally, we plan to revamp many existing non-set dungeon and raid items at level 60, as well as adding new best-in-slot or nearly best-in-slot crafting options at 60. We think there's a lot of fun and interesting things we can do with the level 60 professions and profession specialization crafts, and we plan to expand on those to keep crafting more relevant for a longer period of time. Lastly,
I'm going to be honest, like, I really am excited for this. Like, I think this is really cool. Yeah, I'm going to, like, so if it's coming out on, like, the 7th or something like that, I want to try and maybe, like, level up and, like, get there ahead of time, maybe do, like, Gnomeregan one time. This is really cool. I'm, like, in a way, I'm kind of, like, in the 4th. Oh, okay. Still, right? That's, like, over a week from now. I'm really kind of in shock at how much work they're putting into this. What was your Paladin? I think he's, like, level 11 or something. He's really still low.
Profession specializations will be easier and more flexible.
This is
will likely
awesome.
Have a cost associated with doing so. We're still ironing out.
Facer's April 4th. Yeah, it's real. Like, bro, it's out real quick.
With how this worked in Burning Crusade, that might be a good starting point to inform how this might work. Finally, here's a few quick examples of what potential new tier sets could look like. These are very much not final.
Increases. This is what matters, right? Increases the holy damage of your judgment of the Crusader by 50. The critical strike chance of your Holy Shock and Exorcism by 4%. Gives the Paladin a chance on every melee hit to cause holy damage to erupt from them, dealing to... I wonder if the erupt is like just from them, or it's like an eruption where it's an AoE. That's nuts.
So any of the stats or set bonuses could and probably will change. So first off, you'll notice we've got a tanking rogue set with a very interesting 8-piece bonus. We've also got a Shockedin Paladin set that really plays up key abilities such as Exorcism and Holy Shock. Lastly, we have a Boomkin set that really leans into some of the bonuses we've recently added to Moonkin form.
Yeah, like Insect Swarm, look at that.
These are somewhat early
12
on
seconds.
rough draft versions of some of these items, but we think being able to make exciting new variations of these iconic item sets is very cool, and it's going to be a defining feature of the level 60 endgame. So
I hope they make Shadow Strike actually like insanely good.
That we're done with today's presentation.
Yeah, make it like the second best weapon in the game.
As it was a long one.
Yeah.
We've had a blast on this wild season of Discovery journey with you so far, and we honestly can't wait to get Phase 3 into your hands, as well as provide a bit more information on Phase 4 as we start getting a little bit closer to that. As always, we want to express a heartfelt thanks from the WoW Classic development team. Thank you for playing with us.
Wow.
Thank you for the feedback, and thank you for the participation in helping us develop this
Holy
season.
shit, man.
We'll see you again when Season of Discovery Phase 3 goes live shortly. Thank you again, and goodbye.
They filmed this before they had the date. Shortly. Man, dude, I'm sold, man. I really am. I'm fucking sold. Fuck, this is so cool. Best team in WoW is the SOD team? I mean, yeah, dude. Like, I'm gonna start playing again. This makes me able to log in right now on level. Yeah, like, this is so cool. I'm so glad that I watched this, man. Josh and Norma are good. I feel like the whole team is. Like, I mean, even Holly's like posting all the time on Twitter about the game. Like, this is really cool. They've improved, yeah. I think that, like, oh man, it gives you something to look forward to. Yeah, man. Last stream's coming back. Yeah. Some say, bro, they should add. Dude, you know what they should do? They should add Guzu's character that died down there and put it as like a corpse. Where like you can mouse over it and it just doesn't do anything or say anything, but it has like that dead orc with the armor that he had on. That would be fucking hilarious. I would love that. Yeah, with a tag name. Well, maybe not even with his name there, but just like, you know, nameless adventurer. Or something like Fallen Warrior. Yeah, fuck. I think, yeah, I think WoW's back, man. I think we're going to play WoW again. Fuck. This is awesome. I don't even know what else to say.